So this is the Acer Predator 17X, and this version I have here comes with a 4K display and of course a fully customizable RGB keyboard. Now what I like about this is that this is a true desktop replacement. You've got a 17.3-inch 4K display, resolution 3840 by 2160 IPS display with NVIDIA G-Sync. This is powered by the Intel Core i7-7820HK, so it's a quad-core processor in the laptop. And you've also got a GTX 1080 with 8 GB of dedicated RAM, so which means it looks like a gaming laptop and weighs like one. It's about 10 pounds in total weight, and you've got an 8-cell lithium-ion battery in there. In terms of performance, this thing really handles well, and we'll talk more about some of the specs and things you find in here, like 32 GB of RAM in this version up to that. You have 512 SSD in RAID, as well as a terabyte storage. You've got Thunderbolt ports, 2 USB, HDMI, DisplayPort, and Ethernet all on the left-hand side. So you've got a plethora of ports that you should expect. And on the right-hand side, you have a power port, 2 more USB 3.0, so 4 USB 3.0 ports, headphone mic, and SD card slot. Now I wish that power port was another Thunderbolt port, because you can use Thunderbolt for power. That would make more sense, so hopefully they change that in the future. The overall aesthetics has the Predator logo on the top, really nice finish and polish all the way through. The keyboards, I have to say, I really did like the keyboards. They were easy to type on. Now a lot of gaming keyboards just don't do well, and the trackpad is really good. I was really surprised there, because gaming keyboards, they don't pay much attention to the trackpad. The keyboards, yes, but this keyboard I really liked. I like the number rows, I like the programmable keys that you had, and also the fact that it's an RGB keyboard. So you've got different lighting zones. You can change that and customize that to whichever way you feel, which is pretty good for it. As I mentioned, a 4K display, and it's a really nice display in terms of 4K representation. Things are vibrant, they're sharp, they're clear. But something that was also a big kicker with this is that it's got some really good audio off the speakers of the display. So I want you to take a quick listen to that.
So for weeks we've seen rumors and speculations from different sites about the Galaxy S8, but it's finally here.
Oh, shoot. Now, in terms of software on here, there's pretty much nothing other than Predator Sense and your RGB lighting, which allows you to overclock your system to turbo, faster, normal. Turbo, of course, is the highest. And that automatically overclocks your system, so you can take advantage of it. You can install, of course, specific drivers to overclock the system manually, but this is a nice way if you don't know how to do overclocking and you really don't care about the minutia, but you just want it to give you a slightly better performance. And you guys are thinking, now what about games? Let's talk about games. So the first game is Mass Effect Andromeda, and I will tell you that I was getting between 33 to about 40 frames per second on the system. I wish it went higher than that. I think it just might have to do with an update, NVIDIA update that I need to run on this. But in terms of fluidity, it actually was pretty fluid, ran pretty well. Sorry, the lowest it went down to about 30. The average was about 35 to 36 frames per second on this game, which I think it works pretty well for what you're doing here. Now, this is also, you also got the same frame rate where it was unplugged or plugged, so I found that really interesting. I think it just might have to do something with an update there. Now moving to Battlefield 1, and we're running the game at Ultra, and we have it plugged, and you'll see that our frame rate was set between 59 and 61 frames per second with the game. So and when we switched over, and I'll show you that later on, when we switched over to actually unplugged, it actually dropped to about 30 frames a second, which is why I said I think there was something up with Mass Effect Andromeda. But the game handled well, 60 frames a second, ran very smooth, had no issues, especially on a gaming laptop. We really want to have that capabilities there of running something smooth and fast at a really good frame rate. And Battlefield 1 really showcases that with the Acer Predator 17X as a system. Now here we have the system unplugged, and we're running it at Ultra again, and we're playing Battlefield 1, and you can see it's about 29 to about 33 frames per second. So when you unplug the system, of course, system specs are a little bit downgraded, and you get that. So that's why I said I think Andromeda needed an update of some sort. But overall, I liked the performance of the Acer Predator 17X. I think it's a really solid gaming rig for a gamer on the go. Yes, it's 10 pounds. It weighs a little bit more, and you know, it's something that you might think is a little heavy to carry around. But Acer does have a backpack that's actually pretty cool and awesome. One that comes with a bunch of compartments that allow you to put your Acer 17X, as well as that massive power brick in there, and a bunch of accessories. So even, you know, the Acer mouse, or whichever mouse you want to use for this, your laptop, your tablets, things like that. I like that little compartment for the power brick itself, which is pretty nice, and you can go ahead and put in your gaming laptop. Now I hope in the future Acer streams down the size of its laptops, because it's pretty big in terms of just chunkiness altogether.